Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, we'll bring you an update on the development of the Spotswood property.
Thrilled that we're taking the next step.
And another Norfolk Southern train derailed just hours before the CEO of the company testified before the Senate today. Construction is beginning on new coffee shops and restaurants in the Lexington area. But not everyone is excited to welcome them.
It'll definitely affect us negatively with travelers.
All that and more now on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I am Archita Agarwal.
And I'm Bree Hatch. Lexington City Council announced its plans for the next phase of a highly anticipated project to generate more revenue for the city. City Council has given the go-ahead for a developer to draft plans for apartments off Spotswood Drive. The approval comes after months of controversy about the design, but the project is still far from becoming a reality. Andrew Arnold reports.
Lexington is one step closer to generating roughly $3 million in tax revenue over the next 20 years from property off Spotswood Drive. City Council voted on March 2nd to approve a permit for the Richmond-based developer Echelon Resources. The permit allows 62 market-rate apartments to be built on roughly 3 acres of land off Spotswood Drive.
Thrilled that we're taking the next step. As I've reminded people, they've said, oh, it's a done deal. And I remind them, until dirt starts turning, anything can come to a screeching halt.
The Spotswood project has been controversial for months. People in the community criticized the initial design as ugly because it was too modern. Councilmember Charles Alligood was the only dissenting vote on the project. He says the city promised decades ago to use the Spotswood property for expanding the Oak Grove Cemetery.
I felt an obligation to speak for the people that had spent time coming to the public hearings who had raised the question about the use of the property for the cemetery.
In 2021, a former city attorney investigated Alligood's contention. He found no evidence that the city had made such a promise when it acquired the land in the 1980s.
It's been documented, it's been researched, it's been litigated, if you will, that this property has been available for development by the city for close to 50 years.
The next step in the development process is drafting a site plan. Engineers and planners will figure out how to include things like sidewalks and stormwater drains into the plans. The City Planning Commission will review the plan. Echelon would still need a building permit before it could break ground. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Andrew Arnold.
Lexington, Buena Vista, and Rockbridge County officials are discussing the possibility of pooling money they receive from settlements of lawsuits filed nationally over the opioid epidemic. So far, they've received a total of over $180,000. Administrators say they might give the money to a nonprofit organization or to government agencies that help people struggling with addictions. To learn more, read Emma Mansfield's full story on our website. President Biden unveiled his budget Thursday in Philadelphia. According to the White House, the proposal plans to lower costs for families, reduce the deficit, and bolster Social Security and Medicare. The Biden administration says its budget for fiscal year 2024 will cut the country's deficit by $3 trillion over the next 10 years. But some Republicans are skeptical about what the plan includes. According to the White House, the deficit reductions will be covered by tax reforms towards the wealthy and large corporations and less spending on special interests like big oil and big pharma. The budget proposal isn't expected to go far on Capitol Hill, with Republicans in charge of Congress. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has been holding weekly meetings with House GOP groups to try to find consensus on spending cuts, which they're demanding in exchange for raising the nation's borrowing limit, which is scheduled to hit a ceiling this summer.
Hours before the CEO of Norfolk Southern appeared to testify in Congress, another of the company's train derailed, this time in Alabama. Alan Shaw apologized before Congress today and pledged millions of dollars to help Palestine, Ohio, recover from the damage caused by the trains that derailed. Shaw said he is determined to make this issue right.
We're developing and implementing near and longer-term cleanup activities. Air and water monitoring have been in place continuously since the accident, and to date, it consistently indicated that the air is safe to breathe and the water is safe to drink.
Shaw committed $20 million so far to help East Palestine recover. The Senate launched today's hearing as the first in what is likely to be a series about railway safety and the Biden administration's response to the disaster in Ohio. The top Republican in the US Senate is in the hospital after a serious fall last night. A spokesperson for Mitch McConnell says the Senate minority leader tripped and fell at a private dinner event at Washington, D.C. hotel. The spokesperson says McConnell is being treated for a concussion and will stay in the hospital for a few days for observation and treatment. The 81-year-old Republican from Kentucky is the Senate's longest-serving GOP leader. McConnell is the third U.S. senator to be hospitalized in recent weeks. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein is recovering from a bout of shingles, while Democratic Senator John Fetterman is being treated for clinical depression.
Russia's overnight strikes have killed at least 11 people and left 22 injured, according to local officials. As the assault continued into this morning, 81 missiles were fired into multiple Ukrainian regions, including the nation's capital, Kyiv, injuring 3. In the western Ukrainian city of Lviv, there were further strikes as 3 residential buildings were destroyed. Reports indicate at least 5 have been killed as rescuers continue to search for additional victims.
General Motors is looking to cut costs by offering buyouts to its employees. In January, the auto giant had said it would save $2 billion without any layoffs, but today, GM announced it wants eligible employees to volunteer to leave. The separation program would offer salaried workers who have been with GM for at least 5 years a lump sum payment and other severance based on their number of years with the company. Global executives are eligible for the buyout after at least 2 years. The buyouts are a part of GM's effort to trim costs as it makes the transition to electric vehicles.
Rockbridge County and Lexington Commonwealth's attorney Jared Moon is encouraging victims of sexual assault at Washington and Lee University to seek help from police and prosecutors. In February, 2 former W&L students faced sexual assault charges. One is awaiting trial for allegedly raping a female student. Moon said the best way to pursue a conviction is to call police first, not the university. 2 university officials sent out emails this week to inform students and faculty about W&L's policies on the issues. The university will be offering additional sexual misconduct educational sessions for students in the coming weeks. And coming up, we'll bring you the latest on the chain restaurants and coffee shops breaking ground in the Lexington area.
I'm Juliana Stevenson with the Rockbridge Report. It's been a nice and sunny week here in Lexington, but the sun's not here to stay. Hear more in my forecast coming up.
And the company Yeti is recalling 1.9 million coolers and gear cases. We'll bring you more on the announcement after the break.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Businesses in Rockbridge County may face competition from several new fast food chains by the end of the year. Billy Quilly has the story.
Starbucks, Dunkin', and Chick-fil-A are on their way to Rockbridge County later this year, and local restaurant owners are worried.
How do we compete against them? What can we do better? Right? Those are the things that we think about all the time. But in the back of your brain, you're always hearing that. You're hearing those footsteps behind you.
Rockbridge County Deputy Zoning Administrator Neil Whitmore says the Chick-fil-A and Dunkin' will be near each other, between the Motel 6 and the Patrick Blevins State Farm Insurance Office on Lee Highway. Construction is already underway at the Dunkin' location. The Tourism Corridor Overlay Board of Supervisors approved a plan for Starbucks to open a store just outside of Lexington. Starbucks did not respond to repeated requests for comment.
Going into the former space of the Cornerstone Bank, which already has a drive-through.
Gonzalez says he's worried that downtown Lexington restaurants won't get as many people stopping in as they do now.
Starbucks being out there, Lexington coffee is definitely going to be hurt. It's definitely going to hurt their business. And that is one business I do not want to see closing.
It'll definitely affect us negatively with travelers because of the interstate being so close to the Starbucks.
College students in the area say they are thrilled about the Starbucks and Chick-fil-A in particular.
I'm super excited for the new Starbucks. I love Lexco, but nothing quite beats Starbucks.
A lot of people at VMI like Chick-fil-A, and it would be a good additive to Lexington.
Gonzalez said he will need to make changes in his business to compete with the chains when they open. Palmer said Lexington Coffee is already thinking about using social media to attract more customers. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Billy Quealy.
With the weather getting warmer and spring getting closer, Buena Vista is getting its campgrounds at Glenmorey Park ready for camping season. The city replaced all the electrical and water lines at the upper campground after city manager Jason Tyree shut the site down last year because of its faulty electrical system. The city began digging trenches at the lower campground in the last week. It expects to open the upper campground on March 15th and the lower site in April. The city is also building a playground, renovating the pool, and replacing roofs on pavilions. For more information, check out Jack Hunter's story on our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
And another Buena Vista news, the city's preschool and kindergarten population is growing, but the city doesn't have enough space for all its students. The Rockbridge Report's Christian Basnet joins us live from F.W. Kling Junior Elementary School to explain. Christian?
F.W. Kling Junior Elementary School teaches pre-K through second grade and is overcrowded. School officials may move Kling second graders 3 miles away to Enderley Heights Elementary, where there's more room. Buena Vista's F.W. Kling Junior Elementary School is so crowded that its speech therapists must use the cafeteria stage to meet with students, while their classmates are eating their lunches.
So when you're trying to work with a student on some articulation skills and you've got the whole lunchroom going nuts, it's just hard.
Teachers also meet with special needs students in an old storage closet that's been converted into a small classroom. The room's ceiling tiles collapsed last week because of rain. Kling usually has about 60 kindergarten students who are spread across 3 separate classrooms. This year, there are 4 classrooms of 77 kindergartners.
Their kindergarten classes and our preschool classes have grown to the point that we've used up any additional space that we had to house classrooms, and that's kind of pushed some of our programs out into other spaces.
Clark says moving second graders to Enderley would make room for a full-sized classroom for students with special needs.
Thank you.
The school board will consider the proposal at its March 28th meeting. Some Kling parents weren't aware of conditions at the school, but they said they support the proposal.
I think it's a great idea. If they need more room, why not go for it? Both schools are very good, so I wouldn't be objective to the move.
Enderley Heights will move its pre-K daycare program over to Kling with other preschoolers if the plan is approved.
It's still going to be tight. I'm not going to tell you that we're going to have space all over, but it's manageable then.
If Buena Vista School Board approves the proposal, Francis says the change will be permanent unless a school for pre-K through 7th grade is built. Francis says he'd like to begin this summer to plan for a new school. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Christian Basnight. Back to you.
Thank you, Christian. US product regulators announced today that Yeti has recalled 1.9 million coolers and gear cases because magnets can come detached from them, posing a risk of serious injury or death. The Consumer Product Safety Commission said consumers should immediately stop using the 4 recalled products and contact Yeti for refund information. The products being recalled are the Sidekick Dry Gear Case M20 Soft Backpack Cooler and the M30 Soft Cooler version 1.0 and 2.0. And coming up, the California storm shocked millions of people, including a man who survived for a week of snacks in his car.
And Juliana will let us know if there might be some rain headed for our way after the break. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. A miraculous story of survival following the historic winter storms in California. An elderly man was rescued after surviving for nearly a week alone in his car, stuck in a snowbank on a California highway. 81-year-old Jerry Jarrett says he survived on a few snacks he had in his car and rolled down his window occasionally to eat snow. He got stranded after he set out from his mountain house in Big Pine, California on February 24th to return to his family home in Gardnerville, Nevada, just over 3 hours away in good driving conditions. His grandson said Jarrett thought he could beat the impending snowstorm. Ill-prepared for the weather, he managed to keep himself warm with only a light windbreaker, a quilt, and a bath towel as temperatures dropped into the teens overnight. Jarrett was rescued after a helicopter pilot spotted his vehicle and saw him waving his arm out of a small opening in a car window. He was taken to a hospital. Jarrett showed no signs of hypothermia and was discharged just hours later. Roughly 3 feet of snow fell during the series of storms that pummeled California over the course of the week, knocking out power to thousands of homes, burying roads, and leaving many stranded. I can't even imagine what I would do if I was at the California storms, and I'm really grateful that we've had some nice weather here in the past few weeks.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of people out in the colonnade wearing summer clothes already. Juliana, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it has been so nice seeing everyone wearing their shorts and t-shirts recently, but sadly we're going to have to grab our raincoats for this weekend. Let's take a look at a live shot in Buena Vista. As we can see, it's been a beautiful sunny day here with a high of 60 and a low of 35. We have a barometric pressure of 30.17 inches with a wind speed of 5 miles per hour and a humidity of 34%. Looking at our radar, we can see how clear it's been with no precipitation, but sadly, that is about to change. Let's look at our regional conditions. Here in Lexington, and as well as in Buena Vista, we have a temperature of 56 degrees and it's sunny. Over in Stanton, it's just a degree colder at 55, and down south in Lynchburg, it's a little bit warmer at 63 degrees. Over in Charlottesville, we can see it's 62 degrees, as well as in Roanoke. Over in Covington, it's currently 53. Now let's take a look at that 5-day forecast. Today we can see those nice clear skies with a high of 60 and a low of 35. Tomorrow, the rain is starting to set in with a high of 46 and a low of 30. On Saturday, we're going to get another glimpse of that sun with a high of 51 and a low of 24. On Sunday, the rain is coming back with a high of 44 and a low of 34, and even a chance of snow coming into Monday with a high of 51 and a low of 27. Back to you guys.
And as winter sports come to a close, spring sports are just ramping up in Rockbridge County.
And the Oscars are this Sunday. We'll give you a behind-the-scenes look at the highly anticipated event.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Bree, it's been so great outside. I wonder what sports are going on right now.
Yeah, I have fond memories of playing soccer on the field in the spring with the grass and the sun. How about you, Mackenzie? Any of that?
You know, being a golfer myself, the spring season has a soft spot in my heart, you know, apart from the pollen, of course. And with that being said, the college basketball season officially came to an end for the VMI Keydets. Following Friday's 92-72 loss to Chattanooga in the Southern Conference Tournament, the Keydets finished off their season with a 7-25 record. The dominant season of Washington and Lee's women's basketball team has also come to an end. The Generals traveled to Ada, Ohio to play in the first round of the NCAA tournament, but unfortunately suffered a heartbreaking 58-55 loss to the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. The team finished their season 22-7 and brought home the program's second conference title. As spring sports kick into gear, the WNL baseball team extended their home win streak last night after a 9-6 win over Mary Baldwin University. I had the opportunity to speak with the General's star player of the field last night after the game.
Good evening. I'm here at Washington Lee University, where the Generals baseball team just defeated Mary Baldwin University with a score of 9-6. I'm joined here by Jacob Jackson. First off, congratulations on the win. You had your first home run of the season, and the third inning ended in an unbelievable triple play that started with you. Can you walk me through your emotions as that play went down? And have you ever been involved in something like that before?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really exciting play. I think that was the first time in my baseball career that that's happened, and everything happened pretty quickly, but it was a great team play to get us out of a tough inning.
The team heads on a 5-game road trip starting this weekend. How did this win at home set the pace for your time away?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to get a midweek win at home. I think it puts us in a good position to head into a couple road games.
Thank you so much for your time, and best luck moving forward.
Thank you.
The Generals head to Danville on Saturday to take on Everett University in their second doubleheader of the season. And the Generals men's and women's lacrosse teams both look to extend their undefeated records this weekend. The 5-0 women's lacrosse team will play away against Catholic University, currently ranked 17th in the division. The 4-0 men's lacrosse team take on the Gettysburg Bullets at home. currently ranked 3rd in the division. In other news, spring sports teams at Rockbridge County High School and Perry McClure High School are finishing up their preseason scrimmages this week. Rockbridge County's boys soccer will scrimmage against Amherst County High School at home tonight at 7 p.m. The girls soccer plays Amherst County at 6 p.m. tonight, traveling away for both games. Both schools' spring sports teams begin their regular season starting next week. Be sure to keep an eye out for some great matchups. That's all for sports. Back to you, Bree.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. The Academy Awards are this Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, winners will play the game of Beat the Clock, trying to squeeze in all of their thank yous before the dreaded music starts playing. The two men in charge of cueing that please stop talking music say they are not trying to be disrespectful. Executive producers and showrunners Ricky Kirshner and Glenn Weiss told CNN if someone is giving a heartfelt, well-meaning speech, they will not get caught off. But if a winner starts reading what feels like a grocery list, the music will start playing. Weiss says all winners have a countdown clock to keep track of time, and when it hits 0, a message saying, "Please wrap it up," appears on the teleprompter. And that is all for today's Rockbridge Report. Stay up to date on more regional news by visiting rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
And join us again on Tuesday for our weekly news update. Have a great night.